Welcome to the Sprinkles of Spirit podcast with Lisayogaangel. I'm Lisa, and I am your host. I believe the key to living an inspired life is through living a well-balanced life in our mind, body, and spirit. Join me every Thursday for a journey of self-discovery and transformation as I share with you powerful practices and tools that will empower you to experience personal growth and embody self-love, confidence, and faith. I am so grateful to be here as your guide to living your best life now and remind you that you are exactly where you are supposed to be and you are loved beyond measure. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, for those of you who are new, I always start out with the breath. The breath is the most powerful, free tool we all have to bring us into the present moment. So, if you will, please breathe with me. So wherever you are, go ahead and close your eyes, set down all the things, and allow yourself to get quiet here. And take a deep inhale through your nose. Fill up your belly, your ribs, your shoulders, your chest. And allow the exhale to come out of your mouth. So you relax your face and soften the jaw. And breathing in through your nose. And we slowly open our eyes. All right. Thank you. So how are you guys doing? We are in October. Oh my goodness. Can you believe how fast this year has gone? I just can't even believe it. So I have a word actually that came to me. I don't know if I listened to another podcast or I read it in a book. No. It was a doctor actually that said it on Instagram. Did a little video. And I wrote the word down. I was like, oh my gosh, so many of us do this. And the word is rumination. So what is rumination? So rumination is repetitive thinking, or it's when we dwell on a negative thought pattern or feelings and distress or an experience or some kind of consequence, or it's a repetitive thought process that goes on in the mind, and ruminating on something negative, whether it's an experience or a word or a negative thought pattern you have, it really contributes to, the development of depression, and of course, can worsen anxiety. And I was thinking about it because, isn't it funny, how no matter what, like let's say you worked on something, right? Let's say you wrote an essay, or let's say you put together an outfit, or you did your hair a certain way, or, something you worked on, right? And 99% of the feedback that you got, let's say you gave a speech or, anything. And 99% of your feedback was positive, and it was awesome, right? We tend to focus on that 1% that might have been negative. And we begin to ruminate on it and dwell on it and maybe even obsess over something negative we heard or feedback we received. And it just keeps cycling in the mind over and over and over and over and over. And this is, it's really detrimental to our well-being, does not serve our highest good. And it's certainly going to stress you out and increase your levels of anxiety, and stress. And, I've been guilty of that too, of course. I've gotten better with that over the years, through personal growth and my yoga journey. I have mindfulness. Mindfulness is very much a part of my life, and I'm very aware if and when I start to go down that path of rumination. I'm very aware of it, and I'll catch myself. And I wanted to share with you, because I feel like this is something that's so common. I feel like many, many people suffer from rumination, and I want to guide you to experience rumination elimination, right? Like, let's let this go. Let's, first you may be asking yourself, is this possible? Absolutely. You can eliminate ruminating negative, on negative thoughts. And I'm going to give you some tips, so get out your journal, write this down, and this is going to help you, develop mindfulness, first of all, to become aware of when you're ruminating, when you're stuck on repeat in your head and you're repeating negative thought pattern, or, you're experiencing a lot of stress, anxiety, maybe even depression has started. Check in, because there may be rumination happening in the mind. You're on repeat, you're dwelling. Where do you dwell? One of my favorite spiritual teachers is Carolyn Miss. And, I learned from her, ask yourself, write down this right away, this journal prompt. Where are you dwelling in your mind on a daily basis? Wherever you are dwelling is determining the quality of your life, because what's going on within ourselves, within our mind, has a direct effect on our life experience. So write that down. Where am I dwelling in my mind? So this is key. Awareness is key. Okay, so let me give you a few tips on how to bring a rumination elimination into your life. And the first step is what I'm talking about, and that's identify your triggers. So where am I dwelling? And notice what triggered you to get to that place. What are the things that typically lead you to ruminate on negative thoughts? So once we have this awareness, once you know what's triggering you, you can start to avoid them, or we develop strategies for coping with them in a healthy way, because it may be something that you cannot remove from your life, such as maybe it's a work relationship that has you really challenged. It just may not be possible for you to completely avoid things, but we can certainly develop some strategies and have healthier ways of dealing with challenging events or experiences that you may have on a daily basis, or relationships, but identify what's triggering you, identify what is bringing that negative thought pattern or feelings of distress within your mind. And then the second step is to challenge the thought. So when you find yourself ruminating, or AKA dwelling on a negative thought, the number one question, write this down, ask yourself, is this really true? Is this thought really true? Is there any evidence to support this negative thought? And then the next step is to replace it with a more positive or a realistic thought. Replace it with what's true. What do you know to be really true? in place of this negative thought pattern. Okay, number 3, of course, and this is what I spoke about, it's having that awareness. It's mindfulness. So mindfulness is the art of paying attention. So when we begin to pay attention on a daily basis to what's going on in our head, this awareness is key. It really is key. It's the art of the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. So letting go of judgment. And the more awareness we have, the less likely you are to get caught up in rumination, right? In ruminating on a negative thought. So, and of course, I've spoke about this year, many different ways to practice mindfulness. Yes, yoga, get on your mat. Yes, meditation, the breath, just like we began with. Deep breathing is so powerful in increasing your level of mindfulness. And then it really does become a way of life, It really does, and brings you fully into the present moment. It's so powerful. Mindfulness is so powerful. I cannot stress that enough, especially in the process of this, of eliminating rumination and dwelling. Okay. And then lastly, of course, is talk to someone, because if you're really struggling and it's becoming just something you just are not able to clear on your own, it's time to speak to a counselor, a therapist, a spiritual coach. There's so much information online out there at our fingertips. Don't hesitate, to get that help for yourself. And it's very healthy to do that. Because having a therapist or a counselor, they can help you develop coping mechanisms and strategies for dealing with your thoughts in a healthy way. And, I am a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, spiritual coach. But of course, I advise many people, yes, go to a licensed therapist or counselor. If this is becoming overwhelming, if life is becoming deeply challenging because of rumination happening in the mind, because of this dwelling, because of this obsessive, repetitive thinking that I know can really take hold of people. I kind of see it, in some people. I can walk by a stranger and kind of tell, if someone's deep into a dark thought, or, it's an energy thing too. I can kind of sense that. But yeah, don't hesitate to take care of yourself in this way, to get help. Journaling, I hope you're journaling during this whole journey with me here on the Sprinkles of Spirit podcast, and really begin to express your thoughts and your feelings in a healthy way, because, negative thoughts in our head they drain you physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. And yeah, I want you to know it is possible to turn it around. It is possible to eliminate, but it may involve utilizing these tips, talking to a friend, a family member, continue writing in your journal, creativity, get creative. There's another tip. Create. What's your passion? Get out there. Enroll in a class, maybe learn a new skill, paint, write, teach, share. There's so much healing power in creativity also, that I think really takes you out of your head and away from dwelling in a negative place. It's almost like, when I'm creative, there's no way I can be negative. If I'm in a negative space in my head, it's not a time I'm writing. It's not a time I'm sitting and speaking to you and recording a podcast. Um, the creative energy is not flowing if I'm dwelling on a negative thought. I do notice that, I don't know. This just came to me. And I wanted to talk about that word, rumination. It's something to be aware of, Do you have a habit of dwelling on a negative thought? Or do you find yourself focusing on that 1% negative feedback versus 99% positive? Something to be aware of, And it's something to shift, and it is possible. Know that it is possible. Okay. Rumination, right? Right about that. Let me know your thoughts. I love to hear from you guys. Okay. Let's get to our card, our Periwinkle Blue card. For those of you who have the Sprinkles of Spirit card deck, your angel message I picked this week is surrender to divine timing. And your affirmation is, what is meant for me will never need to be rushed, forced, or manipulated. I trust that all is well. And I have a whole episode on this earlier this year on divine timing. I love this. Divine timing is key, and I'll share with you, I'll get a little personal here and transparent. Closing out my 48 is great year. It was such a special year, and entering into my 49 is divine year. I want to tell you, a new cycle is beginning for me as I will be getting married, I will be getting married, and it was 1,001,000,000% divine timing. And if you would have told my 28-year-old self that, chill out because you won't be ready for, and the person you will marry won't be ready until you're almost 50, my 28-year-old self probably would have freaked out. I mean, I think her seriously, she was not in a frame of mind to hear that. And this, oh God, it's so powerful. I literally have like full body chills right now, because if you're questioning where you are, if you're questioning why you haven't achieved A, B, C, or D, why you haven't been able to find the right job, why you haven't met someone special, why you can't find, the right next home, or why your finances are still a challenge. Listen, there is something to divine timing. There's such a bigger picture out there happening in your life. And sometimes we're just so in it, we can't step back and see the big picture. That's why I always recommend grounding, like go look at the ocean, go outside, get involved. Like there's a whole world, travel, there's a whole world happening. And our lives can kind of seem kind of small sometimes, but it's big, widen the lens through which you view your life and where you're at, and really trust that there is a method. God has a plan for you. There is meaning and purpose to every single chapter in your life. It's meaningful, and you're meant to be there. You're meant to be there. And don't doubt where you are, because there's divine timing, and nothing that is meant for you will ever be kept from you. It's impossible. And what's meant for you will never need to be rushed, forced, or manipulated. So keep the faith. You are on the right path. Let me be your reminder today, this week, this month, this year, that good things are coming. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Follow me on Instagram for daily inspiration. And until next time, have a beautiful week. Namaste.